Every morning is a chance to learn something new and to grow as a person. Good morning, all and all present here. I am Nikhil and welcome you all to the third day of Faculty Development Program on Corporate Finance, Research and Teaching Pedagogy. Now I would like to invite Dr. Dennis Winter and Dr. Nitin Kandil sir for to offer proper and prayers to Master.
Amit. अरे हमें फिर जा भाई
Now, I would like to request online as well as offline participants to kindly be attentive as today's session is going to be very much interesting. Now, I would like to hand over the other event to Dr. Daniel. I'm here. Questions or please. Okay, welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Read slides. She's video two slides. Yes. If you click over to consider, it's possible to get the slides on the screen. It's called video two.
कौन सा बोल which one sir
KTO2 yeah.
अमित काइंडली ऑनलाइन पार्टिसिपेंट्स को आवाज आ रही
है skip now escape could you go let me see my folder
ऑफिस फोल्डर देखो ये वाली फाइल की पेनड्राइव में चले जाओ यस Yes. बेटा उसको कॉपी करके अपने फोल्डर में डाल दो। तो पहले स्टॉप शेयरिंग। ये बंद कर दो पहले एक बार। ये बंद कर दो। एंड प्रोसेस कर हो जाएगा। ये वापस उसको पहले कॉपी कर लो। हाँ पेन ड्राइव का ऑप्शन हो। नहीं डी नहीं है पेन ड्राइव।
इनफॉर्मल ऑनलाइन तो चलेगा, इनफॉर्मली दे कैन कम ऑन हियर 50 स्टूडेंट्स गो टू बैक
खोलना मुझे ना, कॉपी करके पेस्ट कर लो।
आपने अपने फ्रेंड को कॉल करो,
एक मिनट कॉपी कर डेट नहीं मिलेगी।
कोई भी आना चाहिए स्पेसिफिक सेक्शन होता है 4 to 5 आपकी जो भी बोलते हैं
यस ये वाली फाइल मेल भी करना पड़ेगी अपना। जस्ट
चेक कर ले एक बार देगा ऑनलाइन।
सेंटर
या
शेयर कर रखी है उस पर ऑनलाइन शेयर कर दो। हाँ ऑनलाइन शेयर कर दो। अभी नहीं हुई, शेयर नहीं हुई। गगन सर आपको 2 फाइल और भेजिए, वो भी शेयर कर दीजिए। लाला मैं करता हूँ डे 3 स्पेशल। ठीक है
उसे पूछो कि वो प्रॉब्लम कौन ब्रोकर है।
Yes, okay. And this one.
So it's not working.
You sure?
नीचे सही हो जाएगा।
तो करो ना
इसको बंद कर वही तो इसको
चैट बॉक्स बंद
चैट बॉक्स
पीपीटी
पे चेंज पीपीटी चेंज की। हाँ ठीक
That works. Okay, well, anyway, good morning, everybody. Everybody's still here. There it is. Oh, there are only 2 participants. And 1 online. Enjoy. It's still not even 1 person.
15.
Okay. Yeah, of course. That's not of course just go with it. Like that, a lot of courses don't this. But you know, it's very important. So, like, the audience here. The Adani, find out again Indian market. Yeah. So the before the size of the Google search rate and the so it is used to getting all the shares of the company or what's available. Please retail market. Well, what's your purpose? That shares, I don't know this situation. I'm not familiar with that, but shares are the stock price is steady, it's going up, yes. And your question is how come, or what can you do? So consideration you update the Hindenburg reports. Actually, what is this question? Yes. That there is a research agency named Hindenburg. Okay, and that Hindenburg agency has given some report on Adani Group. Okay, regarding their debt position. Debt position. Yeah, debt position. Yes. And considering this and based on that, the stock prices in India of Adani Enterprises, there are 9 companies of Adani Enterprises. All the companies' stock prices went down. So what he is asking that can Hindenburg can be considered for analyzing or getting idea about the company? Is this the solution? Yeah, because Adani is something is going to destroy. That is a different like. The Hindenburg is known for short selling. Hindenburg is known for short selling. And right now, well, there are certain, it can be a scam also, right? And it can be inquiry going on, it can be politically motivated also. So right now we can't say that Hindenburg report can be considered a most important report for analyzing a particular share price, right? Because that particular company is known for giving short selling. So generally, what they give a report, then the share fall down, they purchase it, they sell, and then purchase at the bottom. So that is not the topic of our discussion, because corporate valuation is based on fully based on the balance sheet income statement that is available. Right. So informed decision. So we cannot say that what Hindenburg is doing or what other companies are doing. So there are certain other factors which are running share price. So which are unknown factors. Right. We are here to value a company on and we are factor people. So whatever analysis we are doing based on the case study that we have studied last 2 days are based on certain facts and figures. And read between the lines. We have to read between the lines based on the facts given to us and considering economic market scenario of the country. Right? So that is a particular thing. I don't know this company, by the way, but it's very rare to see. I don't know, but I hear from this. How you explain it? It's very rare that only one company, but it is a hedge fund or short selling also has so much impact on organizations. I've never seen it actually. So there has to be some other things going on. Yeah, absolutely.
Past 5 years.
Yes. Yes.
Retail investor in that case.
Yes.
Investor
Yes.
caps. So
Yeah.
they can take a company and they can destroy a company in a minute.
Yes.
So that's the impact
Yes.
of having a retail investor.
Yes.
Say,
I understand. And therefore, an organization that publishes these reports could have a big impact on these investors. It says also something about the type of investors you have there. So how rational are they? So, but it's a bit. Yes. It's interesting to see because if an investor is not rational, you can actually, if you consider the investor not well informed, okay, and he makes not rational decisions, like in this case, I don't know. Then if you be rational, you could actually make, if you have a good investment strategy, you can make a lot of money with them because you simply are going to exploit the fact that a lot of this corruption. Yes. There are many factors that affect the corporation in India. And investor should look from a holistic view. Should not only consider a particular view. Absolutely, that's right. And Indian market is now becoming efficient. And no FII can previously what was happening, FIIs were dominating Indian market. But now retail investors are increased. And that is the reason I understand. Right. Indian market understand that this type of behavior is very difficult to regulate. So I would say that in the Indian market, the market is going to get bigger. Yes. So this volatility is going to get bigger. I would like to I think. By the way, in terms of stock price, I'm not sure if you're interested, but every year we call it an MBA investment fund. So I actually constructed what I call an MBA enhanced investment fund. Enhanced. Because I think, yeah, enhanced, you know, it sounds much better than current, you know, so I call it enhanced. Yeah. It's my own MBA enhanced equity fund. And it consists out of 25 stocks. I posted on LinkedIn, by the way, yesterday. How does this come about? The things that I'm going to teach to my students and also what I actually do for my own clients and participants, the same stuff. Economic value added, return on invested capital, cash flow gap. We take a look at technical analysis. Technical analysis is going to some professors is like, yeah, you know, they don't believe, but I do. But not only technical analysis, I combine it with what I said, economic profit, return on invested capital, cash flow gap, technical analysis, multiple analysis, all of that I put in a company. And then I go to assess whether a company, in my opinion, has upside or downsides or stay stable. And based on that, I'm basically going to put my portfolio in place. I'm going to select stock. Well, on LinkedIn yesterday, I posted my own MBA enhanced equity fund, which is like 25 stocks. So if you're interested in thinking, okay, what I think you should buy, I also made a list of what not to buy. Yeah. So if you're interested in what could be companies with in European area have an upside, then look on LinkedIn. It's a very nice post actually, I think, and it gives you an idea about you know what could be investing. I really believe in a retail, by the way. So I have a Prada on it. I have my wife also loves Prada, but anyways, you know no, but Prada, I have Volkswagen, for example. I have Booking.com. You have a look. It's very interesting. Yeah. So, but the bridge to what we do here and the valuation of a company, communicating, but also selecting your stock in your portfolio, it's not related. That's everything that we did yesterday, the day before, can all be helped to make an informed decision whether you should buy a stock or basically sell it. That's how it goes. If you ask me, but I don't want to sound arrogant or something, but the analysis that we do here in class, and then compared to the analyst reports that you see the market, analyst reports of the market, in my opinion, it's just useless. You know, what is this? An analyst report comes out and the same way to buy. Yes, and then you have another investor who says you need to sell. It's always like that. You know, so basically you really need to do something unique if you want to make like a superior profit. Yes, so in that case, you need to really have your own opinion of where the stock is going to, instead of, you know, reading investor reports and then, you know, decide to buy or sell. I mean, it doesn't work like that, I think. Yes, so if you really want to be making a superior return, let me call it that way, so more superior than what you normally what investors are going to advise you, you really need to do your own homework. That's, I think, the best thing to do when you go and act in the stock market. I think I told you the story about I never invested in equity. I didn't. I think it's in there. No, I never invested in equity at all. I did tell the story. Oh, okay. Well, for a few seconds, I full president finance, yes, for a long time. But I never invest any of my money in equity. You know, it's very interesting. Yeah, so I have clients, I have customers, participants talking about finance, talking about equity investment, but I never invest in equity myself. Never. And I was in the opinion that, you know, I have my money in real estate, I have my money in safe assets, and I'm a little bit conservative from that perspective, because I think putting your money into the market, being very volatile, it's not my style. I mean, I'm a type of investor like that. You know, anybody else can invest, that's fine. But I made one exception, because when COVID hit, I think 3 years ago, the whole market went down. Everything went down. And I was like, but that's actually strange. Because I, of course, had a whole list of companies that I think were very, you know, valuable investments. But I thought at that particular time they were too pricey, so I will invest. Then the market hits, and all market risk actually, you know, these stocks they tanked, they actually went down. So I thought for the first time in my whole life, I'm going to buy equity. Yes, I'm really going to buy equity. So actually both things. I bought Tesla, everybody needed Tesla after COVID. I bought bookings. I didn't bought, you know, bookings, but I think the price was 50% off. Everybody needs to basically, to make their bookings. So why not? For bookings, Microsoft also went 20% off. I think everybody's Microsoft computers. I bought Microsoft. Those are the I bought Hilton. I bought Disney. I bought something else. Those are the Well, anyways, it gives you a little memories of how I want to. So what I'm trying to say is that sometimes, investment can be valuable, but the things I'm really looking at is the core business. Is the core business good or not? That's the point. So the starting point for me to start investing is not so much, what the market tells me. Because the market tells me to sell. That's what the whole market does. That's what I'm trying to say. The whole market still tells you to sell. But I was thinking to what happens after the crisis, and is there still demand for the product? And that's my starting point, my first starting point for actually investigating which stock can be quite profitable in the future. And therefore I bought these stock. I will bought Tesla, by the way, which is said. And Tesla went up with, I don't know, maybe 100 or 200%. So I still keep the portfolio. I'm not looking at it at all. I'm not looking at it at all. I just keep it there. And maybe when I'm older, and retired, I'm going to have a look at what kind of return on investment did I make, and hopefully it's a good return. But what the line is, my starting point for investing is really the business model. What products or services do they have? Is it a good investment? Is the quality of the product or service good? And if I don't believe in a product, I'm simply not going to buy the stock. I think that's what one of my decision tools 3 years ago. Any experience from your side? Is anybody here invested in stock during COVID or before COVID? Anybody here has any experience? Make one yes. What was your strategy? That's my strategy, yeah? Actually, which is quite simple. Yes.
So basically, my strategy is I select few companies like in banking sector, I believe banking sector,
Yeah.
maybe some heavyweights, blue chip company. So whenever the valuation is 20% down, like I have regularly purchased ICICI Bank at around 600-700 rupees and sold at 900 plus.
Okay.
Axis Bank is there, SDFC Bank is there, now it's performing.
Yeah.
Apart from that, I purchase companies which is top 3 leaders in the market.
Yeah.
Yes, they have sound business.
Okay.
And my few other selections are which gives good dividend.
Okay.
Like in mining. So they give dividend plus they are giving returns also plus they are leaders in the market.
Yeah.
That's my criteria.
It's very interesting that you say dividend because that's your type of investing. I also get the question like, yeah, but I also care about dividend. Personally, I don't care about dividend at all. I need to make my return from capital gain. If people pay a good dividend, I really don't care. If I'm going to, because I bought these stocks because I knew that these stocks had gone up to 30-40%. That's my intuition. I think they knew because they were actually hitting. They were actually before COVID 30, 40, maybe even 80% higher. And there was something wrong with the business model. So eventually the stock will pick up. And that's what you also see in today's market. If you really want to make a superior return, in my opinion, that's my disclaimer, in my opinion, then there's a lot of opportunity in the market right now because there's turmoil in the market, there's much uncertainty in the market, and some business models just so very strong, and the stock price simply dropped. And so these are my criteria of looking into the stock. There are many dividend investors, by the way.
Let's say if the market is falling because of some news, like there is a war, Russian war.
Yes.
And the market falls because of their news.
Yes.
There is no problem with the company. There is
Yes.
no fundamental issue with
That's
the
the point.
company.
Yes.
It is falling because of news.
Yeah.
I purchase those stocks which is falling.
Yes.
It is pressure because of, let's say there is news about this Adani. So Adani Power is falling, but due to that, other power companies are also falling. They are fundamentally sound companies.
Yeah.
They are not affected because of this, but because of the negativity in the market, they are falling. So
Yeah.
I like to select these stocks which
Exactly.
are not directly affected,
Yes.
but which is available at a very cheaper price.
Yes.
These are the few criteria.
Okay. That's also what I do. What I did, by the way, because after that I didn't invest anymore. But now I did with the MBA fund. But that's the starting point. And then when I do that, if I selected my stock, then I go to do the following. I calculate economic profit because economic profit follows stock price. So I really would like to know what's the historical economic profit for the last 5 years. I put it in the table. So all this will make a list of strong business model, which basically stock price has dropped. I'm not going to buy any stock price that really, technical analysis. It shows me that the stock has been at the highest point in time. And the economic profit, the multiple is very high, so not buy. But that's again my opinion. I'm not going to sell you anything. So basically, I'm going to take a look at stock prices that stocks who actually have dropped in the past couple of months. And then I'm going to take a look at the economic value added. I'm going to take a look at the multiples, how cheap are they, and then basically I'm going to make my opinion whether the stock has some upside or not. That's how simple as that. It's not that complicated. No. Yeah. So I'm completely with you. I understand what you're doing. Yes. Somebody else maybe have a comment. By the way, my disclaimer, I told you this now like 5 times, but it's my investment, how I do investments. I'm not standing here because I think all of you should do the same. Not at all. But it's basically how I look at these, investment decisions. Yes.
Sir, I'm trying to share bad experience, not good experience.
Yes.
So I getting very paid advisory calling on my mobile televisions. They are telling you should put. I'm getting some daily 10 to 15 call on my mobile daily from the advisory, and they are telling me to put your money in the market. So I selected option trading from
Yes.
with their advice.
Yes.
And I take their money, but what little bit I invested at the time.
Yes.
But not getting any proper advisory, they are telling you will definitely get, but first time they told that I will give you proper advisory and then you will pay fantastic for it first. And they are when I put 100 rupees, you will get 1,000 rupees a day. But it's not anything a practical look. Second day, if I again invested, getting 4 calls, they are telling that this is your surety and you will get only 2 calls protected, 2 is not good calls. So this is your risk, and we can't manage the other portfolio like that. Kind of.
Yeah. Okay. But I understand. But look, you have two. What I see, you have 2 types of investors. You have investors who hold a diversified portfolio, right? Who really hold a diversified portfolio, and you have investors who simply select stock. I'm the type of investor who simply select stock based on the business model, and I think it's a upside. That's how I do it. But of course, you can also have a diversified portfolio. Maybe what you're doing, like that's also possible. Yeah, that's a different way of trading. Yeah. I'm not sure if I answer your question.
Yes, sir, portfolio management proper,
Yeah.
I also required.
Yeah.
Because the ENS is proper advisory is not getting by the people. Because people are given dispute also.
Yeah.
Because this is the government employee funds is going on and not proper investment, proper division in the mutual fund equity, insurance like that.
I think but that's my main message. I think the message is that investing is actually not that difficult. Don't make it too complicated. This is also, for example, if predicting funds to put money in the stock, they actively invest, and they also try to actively engage management. And basically, I really like those parties involved. But they also simply, the first thing they actually going to do is, what is the quality of the product or service? Before they actually invest. They make use of product service to experience it. Is it good? Is it bad? What can be improved? And then they start making a short list of companies that have a bad quality of product or service, and they think, okay, we can actually improve that. And then they're going to basically invest money in the stock and try to engage management. And that's really what I like. So,
so yesterday also is probably the high water from the Australia and London also. But they are hiding their place and not in corporate advisory, and I know that this kind of passport and everything, but this kind of miscommunication happens.
Okay. And I've said this was about the story about the stock price attack. I give you my opinion on how I look at investing in the stock. You give your opinion also. Yes, go ahead.
So I am particularly interested in but I don't personally like to manage this with them. I'm also build this habits. So that I always choose funds that are equally oriented.
Yes.
And in the middle COVID, the COVID like somewhat in the middle of 2020.
Yes.
And it's the case of units that equally oriented. There many students a lot till 2023.
Yes.
So they give a benefit there because I would like to manage data. I like to manage.
Yes.
And that gives me a better sense of being in the market.
Of course. I mean, at the end of the day, the best way to feel comfortable with. It's very good. And anybody else like to comment? Was experience with investing in stock? Yeah, here's also. So we can learn from each other, like what we have, what we do, how we act in the market. Everybody has individual preferences, yes? Yes, morning.
Actually, sir, when I started my job, first job,
Yeah.
13, 14 years back. So at that time, I was having little time for searching for the investment avenues and stock prices of various companies.
Yes.
And then I invested also. But later on, as work pressure has increased and we got in a lot of activities, other activities also work related and house related. So we don't have much time to investigate about the companies and research about the companies and stocks.
Yes.
So same thing, I stopped investing in shares, but I'm really interested in the real estate market of India.
Yes.
So if you study the real estate market in India, it is giving very good return and it's giving safe return.
Okay.
So I also started investing in real estate and I got very good.
Yeah, okay, very nice, very good. I understand. Okay, thank you. So this was the story about investing. Everybody has individual preferences. We're going to continue with the case yesterday. The case yesterday was Bang & Olufsen, and if we look at Bang & Olufsen, we've looked at the exercise that we did 2 days ago and also yesterday. And basically, the argument was, okay, if you look at Bang & Olufsen, the company actually did not look that well. Yes, so that was the point. And then we also looked at it from the board perspective, and you had an idea, you know, okay, we're looking at a company that has very bad financial performance. The company is in distress. But then again, we have an outlook at these 2 quarters, which actually look quite good. Yes. So what are we going to do? What are we going to tell the investors? And most of you basically have said, well, the story that I'm going to tell is very positive. Yes. So 2 quarters means that maybe in the we can show some growth. Yeah. So it's very important to if you look at the financials, that you know there is an opinion. Investor thinks it's not good. Board thinks it's actually quite good. And this is what we need to manage. This is what we need to manage. Now, let's have a look at what they really did. And also I'm going to give you an exercise with it. Because let's assume that we've taken a look at it from the investor, we've taken a look at it from the board. Let's take a look at it from the supervisory board. The supervisory board has the opportunity to control the organization and to make sure that the organization is going to create value in the long term. And that's what the supervisory board, or let's call it the non-executive directors, you know, that's where they come in to organize and to manage the company is going to produce value in the long run. An independent view on the organization on all stakeholders. Now, it's a little bit of a game. Let me point out you, for example, will be the supervisory board. And supervisory board, you need to understand that you're also financially liable for the or what happens with the organization. So in the European context, for example, where this company is taking place, the supervisory board is financially liable and also responsible for all the financials of the organization. Yes. If the company is becoming, if you go to produce an outlook, for example, it doesn't make any sense, you can become liable, personal liable also. Yeah, so investors actually produce a lawsuit and actually tell you, okay, what you actually said there was not correct. You know, so in other words, you need to be very careful what you're going to tell the market. You cannot produce lies because you produce lies. It's going to be personal liable. Therefore, in European context, supervisory board need to sign off on all financial statements, including quarterly reports, the annual reports, that simply need to sign off. Yes, that's how it works. So okay, or sign off, it's okay, or you can produce it one. Okay, this is Bang & Olufsen. This is what they really did, by the way. Okay, now it doesn't do this. We can hang it right. I think maybe we should do that and then we first. Okay. Bang & Olufsen. Tomorrow we have a quarterly 2 meeting. Yeah, you should find it. Tomorrow we have a quarterly 2 meeting. And what we're going to tell is this. Bang & Olufsen's strategy is a pyramid. Top of the pyramid, Bang & Olufsen, bigger products, speakers, you know, the televisions, the big chunk of the product portfolio. Lower pyramid is what we call Bang & Olufsen Play. Bang & Olufsen Play are the smaller products. The small speakers, the headphones, the small earphones, everything that's quite small for the retail market that consumer can buy. That's what we call Bang & Olufsen Play, like more the Bluetooth part of it. And on the right, we have from the top to down, it's called licensing. So we have a licensing part of the business, which actually means that Bang & Olufsen, if we are going to sell a product, for example, in cars, to Harvard, the business that we sold, we get a licensing fee back. Yeah. So, but the core business is in the pyramid, and from top to down, this is what we call our licensing department, a licensing fee that we get back from the market from the customers. Well, this is type of products that we're selling. You know, on the left we have Bang & Olufsen Play, the smaller stuff, and you also see like the headphones here and there, Bio Lab. So very wonderful. These products with a beautiful design. What we're going to say tomorrow is this. We're going to say to the market that in the next 3 years, 2 years, we're going to have a top line growth of 10% per year. Okay? We're also going to tell the market that we're going to have a 7% EBIT margin, which is EBIT over sales for the next 3 years. Remember that 7% per year. So not in 3 years, but per year we're going to have 7% EBIT margin. And we're also going to say tomorrow in the 42 meeting that we have a positive cash flow. Okay? You know, and you need to basically sign this off. That's the point. Yeah? Because tomorrow in the 42 meeting, you supervisory board. So I really would like you to sign off on all these 3. Now, as you can see on the left, that last year we had a revenue which is about 2.3 million, and the guidance for this year is actually that we're going to expect to have a 2.6 billion in terms of revenue, which is more than 12% growth. In other words, tomorrow, if we're going to have an investor communication, it's very easy for us to say that we're going to end up with more than 10% growth in the year, because the last quarter we've actually increased the profit, but I think more than 12%, more than 20%. Yes? So the first 2 quarters give rise to ending up with a 10% increase in top line at the end of the year. I know we have an EBIT which is negative, but we need to normalize that, about 300 last year. But I think that at the end of this year, we're going to get an EBIT margin of 7% that we can communicate to the market, which is 7% of the new top line, which is about 181 plus. Yes? It's on the right. The outlook, you've seen, we're going to have, the revenue actually last quarter has been 26% higher than last year. So we're going to work on that, and it will end up with a 10% increase in top line at the end of the year. The driver of the second 26% revenue increase in the last quarter is due to the growth of Bang & Olufsen Play. Okay, Bang & Olufsen Play has driven this growth. We have an EBIT which is also improved to 31 million negative, but last year we had 151 negative. Now we have 31 negative, and we end up at the end of the year at 171, which is 7% EBIT margin. Yes, I want you to sign up on that as well. The free cash flow is 63 million compared to 40 million last year. Also because we simply have an increase of trade payables. Yes. Well, here also again a summary which we'd like to present tomorrow. On top, the first highlight obviously is that we want to point out that we have 26% increase in revenue. The cash flow was 63 million positive, impacted by increased earnings and net working capital. We're also going to point it out tomorrow as well. And also we have a point about EBIT, that EBIT around break even, which is close to 7%, is going to be maintained. Well, here Bang & Olufsen Play, Bang & Olufsen on the left, Bang & Olufsen Play is on the right, and then Bang & Olufsen bigger products, Bang & Olufsen Play is smaller products. Yes? Bang & Olufsen, okay, we had a decline in revenue because we have some problems in the market in TVs, but it's widely offset by the increase in sales in Bang & Olufsen Play. So here again, Bang & Olufsen Play is going to be the driver of our revenues.
Why is Babylon's play increasing their revenues? It's increasing their revenues because simply we are going to sell our products in third-party retailers. Yes? Third-party retailers are basically going to sell more of our products, and there's where the growth is coming from. Third-party retailers. How many third-party retailers have we been using? Well, 2 months ago, we had 3,721 third-party retailers. Okay? Now we already have 5,444 retailers, which you can see on the right. Yes. So in other words, the growth in the top line, the growth in the EBIT, the growth in the cash flow should come from the fact that we're going to sell more Babylon's play products in the retail market because we're going to make more, because we have more points of sale third-party retailers, which is growing substantially. This one is about gross profit. It's also increasing, which is really beautiful. And then last one, we also go to put our company for sale. Okay. Okay. What I would like you to do in the next 10 minutes, discuss with your group. I would like you, your supervisory board, I would like you to sign off on go all the way back. Well, take some time, but I want you to sign off on one. Top line growth 10%. I want you to sign off on EBIT margin 7%, and I want you to sign off on the cash flow, which is positive. And tomorrow we have a quality meeting, and I hope you will agree that this is the best for your organization. Okay? You have 10 minutes. Discuss with your table. You want to sign off or not? Yes. But I want you to make it a little bit more difficult. If you don't sign off, what do you think I should present them? Yes? If you not agree, what should it be then? Yeah, this is the outlook. Point 1 yes or no, point 2 yes or no, point 3 yes or no. The presentation can also be downloaded, huh? Correct? You have it, huh? Okay, good. Well, this is what we'd like to present tomorrow, so I hope you agree. I want you to look at 1, 2, and 3, and basically, if everybody subscribe, I would like you to start so that we can present it tomorrow. This is the page. Yes, per point. So to go table by table, point 1, 2, and 3, you agree, yes or no? That's what we're going to do. Yeah, 10 minutes, please. What you going to do? Yeah. Yeah, the part library. Okay, so the question is that you need to, your supervisory board, you need to look at point 1, 2, and 3, and you should tell me, board, if you agree, yes or no. Yes, I agree. No, I don't. But if you say no, I don't, I'm going to ask you a question. Okay, but what do you think is then? But you should report that. Yes, that's it. Okay. What do you think? 7 minutes. Okay, 5 minutes left. 5 minutes. Make up your mind. If you think you agree or not, 10% sales makes sense, right? 0.27% EBIT margin in year 1, 2, and 3 makes sense now. Economic space environment, free cash flow. It's going to be positive. You're growing the business. What do you think? What do you think? Per table, we're going to discuss all 3 points per table. Take up your mind 3 minutes. In the last minutes, so make up your mind then what you think. Would you agree or not? Okay, it's time. So what we're going to do is we're going to table.
After making up the case, we're going to do before the break the last case, which is the third case, which is submiller. And after the break, yes. So we're first going to discuss this case. I'm going to get your opinion on these 3 points. I'll get the advisory report. Then we're going to do the submiller case. That's the case number 3 that you did 2 days ago. And after the break, I want everybody in. And we're going to do the Juventus game. Yes, everybody going to play the game. Yes, so we want every 13 groups to be intact. And it's going to be very, very fun and also interesting. Now, but before that, let's first go to this assignment. Group number 1. Point 1. Do you agree, yes or no? So, do you sign off? Your supervisory board, you should be independent. Do you think it's reasonable or not? Simply yes, no. Group 1. Yes, okay. Point 2?
Yes.
And 3?
Yes.
Okay. Group 2. Group 2.
Yes. Yes.
2?
Yes.
3?
Yes.
Okay. Group 3. Everybody. That's right.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
3. Group 4.
So yes.
Also yes. I'm going to keep continuing. This is very good. Yes. Let me think.
Yes.
Group 6. Yes. Also. Yes. Yes. And group 7.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And group 8. Also. 3. 9.
No.
Oh.
No. Yes.
Oh.
No. 9. Group 9.
No.
No. And yes.
That's not good. What? You're the only one. Why we not go to small line? Why is that? What is your argument?
Yeah, because CATR is not that attractive in the past 5 years.
Yeah, but the last 2 quarters are going up. Last 2 quarters, we have a new product. The last 5 years, we didn't have it.
Okay. So we were considering all the 5 years back.
In your opinion, I also my opinion. I'm bored. It's supervisory board. I'm not happy with you for the supervisory board. I wouldn't, because this product we have in 2 months. It's going to 5 years ago, we didn't have it.
Okay, maybe, but like we were thinking it that way.
You change yes from yes or no?
Pardon?
Are you going to change? You going to okay?
No, but we like to stick to this because we want to consider a longer time frame for 5 years.
Okay. But tomorrow we have 4 meeting. Yes. We don't go. What do we need to tell the investors then if it's not 10? You do not agree. So I'm simply saying that okay, I understand last 5 years, but this being also play product, we have a portfolio for a short time window. So we need to give it a chance to grow, So 10% okay? Yes. Oh, you know that? Where are they then? Yesterday were here and the day before also. It doesn't matter. Group 11. Group 11. Who's that? The ladies. Always so critical last 3 days. Oh, okay. Like music yes. 12. Also yes. 13. Oh, the answers. What they really happened? Would you share? Oh, 2 yes. In the meantime, we go to somebody turn on the slide answers. Also for the rest, the answers are in case 4. Everybody can download that. And we also going to put it down on the computer. In the meantime, I'm going to answer the question. If someone can help me with your computer, yes? Yes. 4A, please. 4A. Yes, go ahead.
Justification of my justification of my interview by after 3 years of it.
Yes, tell me.
The company has sold a lot of making business to abandoned company,
Yes.
and the losses are reduced. So the new break-even point will be lower than the existing break-even point.
Yeah.
And that's why the EBIT margin will increase. So the profitability of the cash flow will increase.
Okay. But it's the same company that you've assessed on day 1, 2 days ago, which only you give a 2 on the scale of 0 to 10. It was a financial, not looking good company, wasn't it? And all of a sudden, everybody is going to go ahead with all these positive outlooks. So, what is it? What drives this? Yes, I understand that you see the potential. That's right. That's what you're simply trying to say. Yeah? Yes.
So with the break-even point, we can justify only more. Is new break-even point which is lower break-even point.
There is one critical group, 9 and 10, 9, who I think, from my perspective, you're completely right. Completely right. Completely on the money. In the last 4 years, the profitability has not been there. And now you have a window of 2 months, and you're going to say that you're going to reach the sky next year, the next 3 years. How does that work? So of course you can go ahead with it, but what's the downside if you go sign up for these things and it appears at the end of the year that the outlook is not met as management? It's even so in India, the same thing. What happens then? What could happen? Shareholders could simply say, well, you give an outlook which is so positive, I'm going to buy the stock. Yes, I am going to wait and sit until the stock price increases, but then again the news comes out, the outlook is not actually that accurate, and the stock price is going to take. And investors are like, okay, what is this? They're going to give this gives raised lawsuits, right? This is going to happen also in the Indian market. So I would simply say that, be very careful in your role as a financial practitioner, to simply agree with what the CFO says. So that's why, of course, I was a little bit skeptical, but it was a role so we play. But I think you're totally right, in my opinion. I think you're totally right. Okay, let's have a look at what really happens. But they really did it like this. So you're not the only one, huh? You're not the only one. In Denmark, actually agreed to all of this. They signed off on it. Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah, okay. So the outlook has been posted. Supervisory board signed off. And but you need to understand, I was told this. And all of a sudden, in 2014, 15, we're not even able now to pay its salary. Yes? And all of a sudden you get this. But okay, supervisory board signed off. Stock price is 50%. Yes, that's what happens on the first day. What happened? Now, the stock price, when we assessed it, was 55 Danish kroner. The stock price went up to 85 Danish kroner. Now look, let's look at this particular stock price. And now let's assume that you're Delta Lloyd. Delta Lloyd is an asset management firm. They have Delta Lloyd stock in their portfolio. And they looked at it and they were like, we're not so sure we need to keep it. Then the outlook came out, stock price went up to 85. Now here it goes. Let's go back to one of the concepts that we explained yesterday, which we call cash flow gap, which is very useful in making very quick decisions whether something is overpriced or underpriced. Look, if you have 45 days growing, yes, the total market value of the equity is going to be 5.3 billion Danish kroner, okay? The debt in the company is 410, which makes the total market value, enterprise value of Pedagogy 5.8 billion. That is what the price we paid in the market, okay? Now, what was the cost of capital again of Pedagogy? 15%. Very quick, very simple. If the total exposure in the market is 5.8 billion, and the cost of capital, what the investors require on the company is 15%, how much cash flow does the company need to generate on a yearly basis until the infinity? Tell me. How much? exposure is 2.8 billion, cost of capital is 50%. What is the underlying cash flow to be taken out every year to satisfy the investors to be 50%? Tell me a number. How much? 860 cash flow. 860 cash flow per year, and that's with a stock price of 14. Okay, now what was the cash flow in previous years? 0. What was the cash flow last year? 800, but that was because they sold an asset. So is it likely that this company is going to tick the 800 cash flow in the next few years? That's the question you need to ask yourself when you go to investigate in stock. The total exposure in the market is 5.8 billion. The investor wants 50% on that. That's about 800 million in cash flow. And you simply need to generate these operating loss assets per year. Would you satisfy that? Well, look at the cash flow historically. It will never be able to you will never be able to do that. And now look, the stock price goes up to 85. 85. With 45, we needed a cash flow of about 800 million. With 85, what's the cash that we need? Almost double, 1.6 billion. The market is totally underestimating this stock. Do you understand? This is how it goes. The stock price went up from 45 to 85, which would put more pressure on the asset, because Bengal's asset to produce about double the cash flow, but more almost 2 billion per year. With a company that has never produced any positive cash flow in the last 10 years. Totally overvalued. You see, in my opinion. So what would you do if you be dealt a little bit? What would you do? And you see your stock price increase. You would sell. You see, I mean, sell this. So if somebody is willing enough to pay, 85, the company will never meet the 1.6 billion in cash flow per year. I mean, that will never happen. So they sold, but there are 1.6 billion. Now I have to calculate. I think around. So Delta sold for 85. This is what they told the market. After a long-standing shareholder period, Delta Asset Management divested its stake in Bengaluru. We congratulate management and all staff with the significant strategic achievements of the last years and wish them all success for the future. Basically, that's what they've said, right? They sold at 85. They think, okay, let's go and have to sell the stock and have somebody else buy it. What happened on the background was a Chinese investor wants to acquire 100% of the equity. So the Chinese investor actually wants to take control of the company. Yes, and Delta sold to the Chinese investor. Now you're a Chinese investor. You bought a stock of Delta. What is your expectation of the company? To grow or to stabilize? To grow. Yes, but remember that the board has given an outlook which may be a little bit too optimistic, right? Maybe. What would happen to the Chinese investor if the outlook is not met? They simply will withdraw themselves from the market. I mean, that's the risk. Now, let's have a look. Realization. I don't have the top line, by the way, number 1, yes, has been met. That's a tick in the box. Check. The EBIT has not been met at all. The EBIT is 347 negative. Given your reasoning, makes sense. I mean, of course, new product, we understand. But in the last 10 years, you've not even been able to produce positive EBIT. So why do we expect one at the end of the year? So it's been negative. Cash flow, also negative. Which means that 2 out of 3 forecasts have not been met. What happens? Where is it? The CEO is fired. Yes, he needs to leave. There's a new CEO coming in place, which is called Hendrik, new CEO 2016. That's one. And second of all, the Chinese investor was not so interested anymore because they simply did not believe the performance of the organization because the outlook that had been given is simply too optimistic. Yes, and that's why it's the result, the negative result of doing all this. What should have been done, supervisory board should simply have said, no, this is too optimistic, we're too much at risk, we're not going to do that. Also remember that what's another reason why the board would want the market to know that's a very positive outlook. What was another reason why the board would really push this through to a very possible outcome in the market? Where would it be? Anybody?
So we want for people, you wanted them to take one by another company.
Yes, because the last slide which I showed you was that the companies actually put in the board put the company for sale. They're putting it up for sale, and then they give this positive outcome. Yes. So it's a little bit tricky. Okay, Clausen comes in, new CEO. Normally what you see when a new CEO comes in, stock price increases, and it did. Stock price did increase. Yes? Okay, fair enough. New CEO, new chances, new opportunities. Okay, investors invest. But then after that, you already see the stock price declining. Yep. Because nothing really happens with the organization. They also play is selling, but not as good as they expected. There were some problems in the TV market. And the annual report 1819 comes out. Very disappointing year. Very Danish, by the way. Now, if you need to talk about international finance, I would say that this is quite rare to say it's very disappointing year to have the CEO explicitly pointing in a report in a financial communication that it's a disappointing year. Rarely see this. Yes? Very disappointing year, unsatisfactory results, etc., etc. So he's excusing himself for the fact that there was a very disappointing year, which can happen, of course, not a problem. But then he makes, actually, I think, a mistake. He says at the end of the bottom of the press release, 2019 will be a challenging year also. But growth will be driven. And we're going to recover ourselves. To what extent? These are again our revenue, EBIT margin, and cash flow. Again, the three drivers of value. They are central in all the 3 days, yes? Revenues, EBIT, and cash flow. He's going to simply say, okay, this was revenue. Last year was not so good, but in next year we're going to get a single-digit revenue growth. So wait and see, we're going to get there. Next year we're going to make it. EBIT margin. Next year is going to be better. Cash flow, last year we had a negative cash, but next year we're going to get a positive cash flow. Now, we all know by now, because we looked into the case, if nothing else happens in the business, and the business is under pressure, and it's not going to be resolved, what is going to happen with these results? Are they going to be as positive as you would say they are? Most likely not, right? Most likely not. Well, these are the real results. Revenue go down, EBIT is go down, 347 negative, cash flow, I don't know. So the real results are actually much worse than what we expected. What happened to the CEO, you think? Fired. Yeah, again, fired. He's fired, and share slumped. So this CEO, 70% decrease in stock, he is fired, and now he's replaced by Christian Tier, a former BlackBerry manager. Yes, that's now the new CEO, and he hopefully can restore the company. Now, the thing is that he actually does a pretty good job, because in 2021, last year, he actually had a pretty good revenue. You see, revenue goes up, EBIT is actually positive. I guess I don't know. So, do you think the market picks up? What do you think the stock price is going to do after you see the positive results in the last year? It's not likely, yeah? Yes. Yes, go ahead.
They rise a bit. They might rise.
Right, yes. But the problem is trust. The trust is broken.
Yes.
That's the point. And the stock price, it doesn't move up. So this is the stock price of 2 months ago. It's at the bottom. Yes, it doesn't move. Also, if the results are good, the trust is completely gone. And I think this case is not only about finance, it's also about ethics. Yes? If the company would have, in my opinion, would have reported more truthfully, I think the company would be in a better shape than it is now, I think, in terms of stock price. Yes, there would be a better relationship with investors, and the stock price would be a little bit better. Even so, they even might, if they want to extract capital from the market, they would have been easier to do so. Yes, so this doesn't look good for the company. And in my opinion, I think the company is not going to make it. But it's food for thought. Okay. So about value, this case about financial analytics, and of course also about ethics for this. Okay, we go to the next case, some minute, and then we're going to have a lunch break. Any questions about the case? Any comments about the case? Yes, go ahead.
In several children was pregnancy. There is like a fine line of difference between keeping the program high
Yes.
and keeping the achieve them. Showing a business but one thing it is how do we call out that they might have achieved the plan. If you not achieve the plan, why to assume that they will not be with the investors?
Well, they have not achieved their plan, so that's the whole point. But the problem here in this case is to what extent should you report the extent to which you not perceive the plan. I mean, it's like this, what's the most favorite sport in India? Cricket, I think, yeah? Yeah, okay. So if you're a coach of a team, you're a cricket team, and you think, okay, I'm going to win. Oh, it's not possible because my own cricket team may be a little bit worse than another cricket team, so I don't think I can win. But then the coach, I'm going to win 3-0. Even though he knows his cricket team, he does perform well. That's the point, then. So think be realistic. Because if you go to say, okay, yeah, we're going to win 3-0, and then you play the game and you win, you lose, I don't know, 10-0, you have a problem. And this is what happens with the market. So all the audience simply looking at what is this? So it doesn't really help the business. Yes? So basically you have two problems in this business. First of all, the fact that the core operations have some issues in terms of, the strength of the product market combination, the fact that the product is too expensive, the design is very expensive, etc. They need to fix that. But the fact that the coach is going to say we're going to win with 3-0 also doesn't help, So I think in this particular case, be realistic, and then you can focus on the business more, more detail, in much more effort into that, and be more realistic about it. That's more helpful than saying that you're going to do a good job. It doesn't really help. What also doesn't help is the many management changes. That's also a problem. Because every management needs to go, because we're going to say we're going to win with 3-0. It doesn't help with the long-term view of the company. See my point? That's the issue in this company. Yes.
Yeah. So being realistic would be that. Yeah. So I completely agree for this thing. But I have another question. We were seeing many things positive in this. Right. So starting from the divestiture of the automotive assets, entering a brand licensing agreement with Herman. Then TV portfolio was expanding.
Yes.
Then profitable stores continued. Then the employees were almost okay. 2015. Then P&O play revenue to third-party channels it increased.
Yeah. But what's the point? What's your point?
The question that I'm wanting. Yeah. So, in spite of all these things, this means that in reality, in real life situations, it's the numbers that speak more than words. So these are all letters to the stakeholders. We should have been more realistic, and they should be in sync with the numbers that we actually have.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
Excellent. That would be my line of thinking. Yes. Well, sustainable, right? For sustainable business, yes. Not like only for your shareholders, but think about sustainable long-term view. Be realistic about it. Yes, that's how it goes. No, nothing. Okay, so let's go to the next case. Before the break, some other case, third case. Would you also like everybody to download the slides? It's called Submiller. Yeah, could you also help with the slides? Yes. Yes, in the meantime, we have a question.
So they were mainly dependent on P&O pay revenue.
Yes,
And their revenue was very small percentage.
yes,
So, by let's say 20%,
yes,
still it would affect the user revenue to screen. Like, if I talk about the total P&O play and pay,
yes,
their percentage, total percentage was, although they were growing by a good number, good percentage, but their absolute contribution is very less percentage.
yes. But that's a problem. You know, the problem with McDonald's is they can grow the business top line, but the OPEX is still too heavy, yes?
Yes.
And why is the OPEX too heavy? Does everybody know?
Why new product, they are launching new products and their establishment and their promotion.
No, I think it's still in line, but the problem is that, you know, they don't manufacture anything themselves. They buy everything from an LG and then Asia, you know, so the purchase price of the electronics is very, very high. You know, and that's why they have so much problems in the market, because they simply need to buy, and the only thing they contribute to the product is the design. And that's now exactly where the customer is not willing to pay for. That's the problem of the business model. And there, I think they're going to have a very, very tough time next years. I'm not even sure if they're going, in my opinion, they're going to exist in the 2-3 years. I don't know.
There are also new companies,
Shares. So, and I need the software case. That's called software. Yes, yes, go ahead.
I said, there are also very new companies in the market who
Yes.
are competitors.
Yes,
And with this track record of like previous track record in elections and plus the trust issue, I think that this will be very tough for them to survive, as you said, in 6 to 3 years. They will-
yes, sir. Yeah, I know the other one. This is the, oh, no, you're right. No, actually, this is correct. Yes, yes, yes. Actually, I was working on the side. Go ahead, please.
I was saying that their past performance was like the people were not resting on that financials. But
Exactly.
second, because lots of changes and this only design issue that
Yes.
computers.
Management changes, design changes, yes.
Yes, so that man, plus the people have lots of options now, and they get cheaper price.
Exactly. So the next management problem, but it would be how does the company survive? Yeah, that's the next management problem. We don't have a case for that, but that's of course a problem which are not easy. You know, how can we survive with the things that we have? We go now to the two software thinking by the way. It's a very nice software. We now go to software case. By the way, the Bang & Olufsen case, you've seen, let me go all the way back. The overall learning objective for faculty, practitioners, students is like, well, to what extent are we going to create financial value? We're going to use different tools that come back all the time. Economic value added, return on invested capital, cost of capital, going to take a look at multiples, going to take a look at some valuation issues. So all these things come back in every case. Yes. But in Jerry case, you see, the Bang & Olufsen case, I'm actually going to finalize the case in a, let's call it like a business school format. And when I'm finishing it, I'm going to send it out to the faculty in particular. But maybe you want to use it for your own class. So of course, free to use, you can use it whatever you like. But I'm almost finished with it. And when I'm finished with it, I'm going to send it out to all of you. So if you're interested, you can use it. If not, you can do whatever you want. If you want to use it, that's really awesome. That's why I do the work. Okay, let's go to some minute. Let us rewind a little bit. That was case number 3. Yes, we think about case 1, Ben and Jerry. Financial analysis valuation. We did a Bang & Olufsen case number 2 from 3 different angles. Investor, board, supervisory board. Now we do case number 3, Sub-Miller, in the time before the break. Okay, Sub-Miller case number 3. Yes, and now I can do it myself. So, oh, does it work? No.
So you need to be late closer.
Huh?
Late closer.
Okay. Yeah. AB Invest. What is the situation with Sub-Miller and AB Invest? The problem here is that, well, let me first draw the context. The context is Sub-Miller is a beer brew company in 2015-16 wants to be acquired by AB InBev. AB InBev is a also a beer brew company, okay? And AB InBev wants to buy Submiller. But it's a very big transaction, okay? But AB InBev, which is the number 2 player in the beer brewing market, or maybe the number 1 according to statistics, but they really would like to acquire Submiller. So AB InBev wants to acquire Submiller. These are the real financial results for an investor communication report of AB InBev. AB InBev is simply saying strong organic top line growth. Organic top line growth. Yes? A little bit awkward, right? If they say strong organic top line growth while they're taking over a company which is almost about their size. It's not organic growth. Yeah, it's okay, but anyways, it tells you something about how they report.
Their strategies, it's the strategy is acquisition of company.
Yeah.
So this is contradictory.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. Yes. So the EBITDA growth and also their proposed the last line proposed combination is going to give them the first truly globally brewer. Now, in terms of the revenue for this one, they're going to become the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever they were 5, but they're going to strengthen their position number 5 in terms of top line in the consumer goods companies. Number 5 in the world, the combination. In terms of EBITDA, they're going to become the number 1 player. In terms of EBITDA, they're going to become the number 1 player. Remember, one of their visions is superior, also very strong EBITDA growth. Yeah, so they've also been driven quite on EBITDA growth. In terms of EBITDA, the combination allows them to become the biggest in the industry in terms of EBITDA.
So
Yes.
they are excluding the synergies. So what sort of synergies they are talking about?
No, there are synergies in there. Yes.
So what they are exactly speaking of?
Well, what we've been discussing like with the Ben and Jerry case are all the same. Synergies are always in top line and OPEX. Yeah. And if you dive deeper into that, particular synergies, regional synergies. Yeah, South African market, ABFF, I think doesn't have, Submiller has, all these kinds of things. Now, okay, this is something that you need to think about. AB InBev has 46 billion equity at that time and 42 billion of debt. I repeat, AB InBev at that time had 46 billion of equity and 42 billion of debt, which is about 50-50. Which is okay-ish, yes? It's not really that, alarming or something. It's not a bit too much debt, in my opinion, but okay, it's okay, no problem. So about 50-50, you need to remember that. What you also need to remember is that they say the following. Selective M&A, strict financial discipline. Strict financial discipline, okay? They also say, optimal capital structure. Net debt EBITDA 2. Yes, 2. Only 2 times. The debt that they have, net of net debt, it can only be about 2 times EBITDA, not more. That's about optimal for them. So also need to remember that. So they made a nice press release. Now, stock price, AB InBev, they acquired $102. Very, very high. Yes, very, very high. So everything is very favorable. You have a lot of synergies to be created. The stock price is very high. The capital structure is okay. Let's go back to our learnings of the McKinsey model. McKinsey model tells us that 4 stages. Stage 2, 3, and 4. What I would like you to think about on per table, just for 5 minutes, what is going intuitively? You don't need to calculate anything, but just on the table with your fellow participants, what is going to be the impact of the fact that AB InBev is going to buy Submiller? Yes. And they're going to borrow the money to acquire it. Okay. What's the price? The price is about more than 100 billion. They go to acquire submitter for more than 100 billion. And they go to fund the acquisition with about 75 billion of debt. Okay, so again, AB InBev is going to acquire submitter. Yes. And the price they're going to pay is more than 100 billion, of which 75 billion is going to be paid in debt. Okay? Now, I would like you to intuitively, don't calculate anything. What is going to be the impact of this M&A deal on A1, A2, B1 and B2 and C? Just intuitively. So what is the impact of this acquisition deal on the ROIC, economic profit, interest coverage ratio, debt to EBITDA, and on the valuation? Just with pluses and minuses, yes? Okay? Let's take 5 to 10 minutes. And then let's have a discussion. And in the meantime, I would like you to think about the following question. If you will be shareholder, or maybe if you will be supervisory board, would you approve this deal? Because remember, it's not exact direction, you need to sign off. Would you sign off on the deal? Board wants to do this. If you'll be supervisory board of AB InBev, would you sign off on the deal? Yes, but first do the intuition about, okay, what's the impact on A1 and plus and minuses, and then your price. What do you think? Yeah, 5 to 10 minutes. What do you think? Would you approve the deal or not? What's the impact on A1? Return on capital, A2, B1, B2, C. No need to calculate anything, just argue. You don't need to calculate anything, just argue.
If you have 2 minutes, you don't know anything, that's just what you think from the even factors for these stadium.
Okay, start. Start. Okay, now, in the meantime, you are. Everybody? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let's have a look at what you come up with. Okay. Opinion. Who wants to say something? Let's see what they want. Who wants to raise your hands? They want. Say that. Good time, plus finance, what is it? You give me a supervisory reports and all it says. Look at this M&A deal that your board members want to do. Oh. Yes, you? No, increase. Take your thing. Mike, where's the mic?
Here's the mic.
Yes, could you?
Can I say something?
I want the lady. Can we come next? You say increase, yes? Okay. They want increase by? Increase the sales, so it means that the sales will be the driver of A1 to go up. Okay, fair enough. Thank you. And you also, yes?
Yes, so we think that growth will increase and economic profit will also result increase.
But why? She says sales is the driver. Okay. What's the driver then of the increase?
So KD is the cheapest more than the capital this one.
Yes.
For losing of more days is private. For increasing of oil economic profit work.
Yeah, okay, but what's driving this increase the sales?
They are using more debt.
Okay. Okay, what else? What's the comment? Okay, here's also, I would like to know the impact of A1 and it's.
Yes, A1.
Yes.
So based on that, the ROIC will decrease. Decrease.
But they say increase.
So because why it will decrease? Because the net gain, the net revenue which is increasing by 17 billion.
Yes.
But they are reaching debt of 75 billion.
Yes.
It is more, but times than they increase revenue. Plus their, so that's why you feel that it will decrease, plus economic profit will also little bit decrease.
Okay, so your argument is, their argument is sales is a driver,
Yeah.
increase profit, which makes sense, but you're saying that it's offset by the fact that they're going to increase their capital significantly. Okay, interesting. Let's now, okay, so we have a couple of views. Okay, the lady in the back. Miss, yes, yeah, last question, yes, please, miss. Yes. Yes, go ahead, your opinion.
Serving different 8 million feet. Confidence is active.
Okay,
What thing? Give it
yes. Yeah, yeah, this B1, this next, okay, go ahead, B1, yes, 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 yes. Okay. Okay, I understand your point of view. You're simply saying that the health part, A1 and A2, would be negatively impacted by shift because they borrow more money. Yes? Okay, that's clear. But you also said that I think the economic profit would become, what was the impact that you said? Positive impact, right? Yes. Okay, okay. No, I understand, I understand. And what about economic profit? Okay. Okay. I understand your point that let's go all the way back to my main question. You said sales is the driver of the value. You added that, the tax shield, which is the driver of value also. I understand. You're saying that that's okay, that sales go up. Tax benefit is going up, but simply offset by the invested capital. Okay, I understand. Last comment. Yes, you raise your hand. Yes, go ahead. You're involved.
So they are going into Africa also.
Go ahead. Yeah, the other ones. Yeah, go ahead.
Similar have presence in Africa and Asia.
Yes.
So now the combined entity will have that thing also. So that will also act as a driver for increasing ROIC.
I understand, but that would be in the sales.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
However, you explain where it comes from. Yeah.
Yeah,
comes from-
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay, I get it. Now, yes, please, yes, let's go to what really happened. Before we go to do that, I want to give an everybody should participate. We have given the case on Fox, thought you maybe read it at home, you discussed it now in class. Giving everything together that you know the deal, you're now ABM, which you say, okay, why don't we go for the deal? Because it makes sense. Who thinks yes? I've seen it, I've discussed it, I know the impact, but then again, I still think it's a good deal. Who thinks yes, it's a good deal? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 people. Okay, interesting. 13 people say yes. Who say, well, absolutely no way, this is just not going to work. No, we're not going to. Who says no? 1. 1. Only one person, okay, and you have the rest. There's a question mark, that's probably the rest. But that's good. I can work with this for 13 people because it's a small game for the break. I'm going to work with this 13 people. Okay, because all of you say yes. I'm not going to ask you why, because probably you think that it makes sense, because it makes sense for my product portfolio. Right? You can see you have a lot of synergies, you become a merger. So these are probably the most arguments that you can use to justify why you need to do that. Okay, fair enough. Let's go to the next slide. What really happens, and I'm going to convince you to switch from yes to no, okay? Is it possible for me to switch the people, the 13 from yes to no, what do you think? By showing some financials? Let's wait and see, yeah? The board and exco, that's you. You said yes, your supervisory board. You hired an independent advisor, that would be me. Okay, it's not a game, but it's not really bad, but you hired me and you asked me, give an independent view on the deal. That's frequently happening, by the way, yeah? So it's not like situation that never happens, that happens all the time. Supervisory board hires an independent advisor, in this case it would be okay. And I'm going to tell you, supervisory board member, you need to watch out. Because in 2013, 14, and 15, the blue column is bigger than the orange column. So it means that it is bigger than cost of capital. And you make an economic profit, right? It's very simple. What comes in is more than what goes out. Yeah. So in 13, 14, 15, the blue column is bigger than the orange column. So we make an economic profit. Okay? Good. I've done some calculations in 2016, 17, according to what you also said. We see sales increase, we see tax yield increase, but it's totally offset by the huge amount of capital in the business. Only in 2 years, I've done up to 2017, I've also done it up to 2013, but I've only done it for 2 years. There you see blue color lower than orange. So we are going to destroy value. Also in 17, we're going to destroy value. You see? Okay, now let's go back to the 13. Who's going to change from yes to no? Please raise your hand. What is the 15? Then? Have I convinced you to change from yes to no? Not yet. Not yet. Not yet. Okay. 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 Yeah. Okay. You still stay. What's your reason? It's only 2 years, right? In the long run, we'll grow. Yes. Okay. Let me take you another. I've done the impact testing of financial health. In 30, let's only look at ICO because that's the most easiest one to understand. It's the orange column. Orange column in 13, 14, 15 is quite high, which means that you're very financially healthy. If you're able to pay your interest obligations, yes? But in 16, 17, no, it's going to drop. Which makes sense because you borrow 75 billion in debt. Yes? You're over leveraging yourself. You're going under the norm. Banks are going to call you up and say, you know, what is happening here? Yes, it's not good. Now, who of the 13 people is going to change from yes to no? Are you going to change? Are you not going to change? Or you know you're going to change? You know, nobody here. Nobody here is going to change. No? Online, I don't know, but online maybe. But nobody here. Okay, here it goes. To the stocks, if I as an independent market go to leak this report to the markets, and I'll write a nice letter to it and don't send all shareholders. What's happening to the stocks? Most likely. You know, it's not good. Invest in news media want to pick it up. Ooh, this stuff doesn't look good. Yes. Okay. Now, what am I going to tell you that the stock prices are going to decrease with 1 billion. The total stock price combined, the two entities is 250 billion. 230. Yes. I'm going to tell you that if I'm going to leave it to the market tomorrow, you're going to eat 1 billion. So you're going to have 229 left. Who, if you look at the advance, who is going to change from yes to no? No, nobody. Is it worth it? 1 billion loss? Yes. Okay, 2 billion. Everybody sticks? Yes, it was your own money then when you do that. If you have 230 billion in your bank account, and after the deal you come to lose 2 billion, you still stick? That's still different, eh? Oh, you change? 10 billion. 10 billion, you lose 10 billion. Who's going to stay? If you lose 10 billion. And then we give it out. You know, it's most likely you will lose 10 billion. You are executive director, you ask the advisor, I'm about to tell you. Exchange from yes or no? Yes, yeah, you wasn't data. I see that you have saying. Okay, well, I can go even to 50 billion, then everybody would change, yes? Yes. Yes. Everybody changes, yeah? But you said, I was saying. Okay. See, I told you. Okay, let's go what really happened. Okay, then we have lunch break. The deal being done, 75 billion was borrowed, the deal was done, signed off by some private investors. But the problem is, it is so heavily with debt that the company, the buyer, needed to sell some beer brewing companies in the market to reduce the debt. Yeah. But they paid so much for the company. They paid so much because they paid about 17 times EBITDA to acquire the company. They paid a huge premium for the company. Yeah, 17.3 times EBITDA. But the companies that they need to sell in the market, they sold at a lower multiple. Yes. So what you see here is they bought something with 17.3, but on average, everything that they sold for a loss. Yes. So the asset that they have left after they sold off all the beer brew factories was rated 23.6 times EBITDA. So what I'm trying to say is that they bought it for a very high premium, then they make a loss on all the beer brewing companies that they needed to sell, and they end up with a portfolio which is a huge premium. Well, it was in the financial market, the global, the deal of the year. Everybody was really happy. Mega deal, largest ever deal, public takeover. Everybody's very proud of the deal. But investors, academics are looking at the deal like, what is going on? This doesn't make any sense. We know that on the short term, there's going to be huge negative impact on, the financial drivers. So what's going on here? It doesn't, it doesn't justify this particular deal. Then we saw news coming in. They had problems selling. Synergies are overstated. Stock price went from 230 to 180 billion in a year later. So they only lost 50 billion in like a year time. Now, they're 55 euro. How much did they lose? They lose 150 billion. Yeah, they lost 150 billion of their stock price. They lost more than 60% of their stock price. Sometimes get it, but then this is short time window. This is a fair price. Everybody thinks this is a fair price. If you think that you can go up, you can buy it. So the stock price went down to 60%, 55 euro. Also get a comment like, but we need to be at the long one. This is only 2 or 3 years, but this is fine. You're stock listed. You work with investors who are taking a very short-term time window. So you either go with them or you do not, and you get something like this. But neither way, it's going to have an impact on management because the CEO also needs to resign. Also, it's not officially in the news that he's a risk, but he simply didn't, whatever reason, most likely because of this, but we needed to leave. So this is the impact. Long story short, what we learned from this particular case, the same with the case of Penny Lobson. It's not only finance, but also you do these numbers and, what's the ethics behind it? Because we're only looking at this deal, I think it's just simply too expensive. It's not worth it. Yes? You still do these deals, anybody? Even though you know this, why you still do it? Why do 50 people here, which is fair, right? Still think it's a good deal? Yes.
Capturing the market.
Yes.
That is one.
Yeah, capturing the scene growth. Yes, you can understand. What's another argument why you still want to stick to the deal? Any other argument? Capturing growth, capturing top line. Yeah? Okay, well, anyway, what we learned from this particular case is that, it's good to have also a very conservative opinion. And then based on that, you can make a more sound decision whether you should buy or not. Yeah, that's the idea. So it's like financial management, but also ethics and being transparent about, what can happen with the company and share just simply all the information. This is a nice way to share all the information, but you need to understand that this report that I wrote was simply not discussed. You see my point. The board simply made an argument about what you're saying. We need to become the biggest one, right? That's their focus. That's what they did. And that's actually, I don't think that's good. So you need to have all the information available. And you guys, faculty, staff, practitioners, you need to be able to do that, to help them, to share all the information. That we call sustainable. That's how you manage value. Okay? Now, it's time. Yes, we have a 45 minutes break, so we're going to start in 45 minutes. I hope everybody will attend. Also, there are a few people here not here, I said things, but everybody hopefully come back. We're going to play a game. Very fantastic game. Yes, I need everybody. Yes? 45 minutes, please.
So that we can manage to take
ये तो करूं
For online participants, you will join at 1:45. You will be joining at 1:45. And there is a simulation game relating to a case study. It would be a very interesting.
all our participants, there is an important announcement. We are going to take a break of 45 minutes. After the break, we are going to start with a simulation game. So make sure that you will join after 45 minutes. The break will be of 45 minutes. Till then, you can have your lunch and you can take rest as well if you want. Because after 45 minutes, we are going to start a very interactive game. So kindly be there and make the session very interactive. We expect an active participation from your side. Thank you so much. Happy learning.